Hello ladies, welcome to the channel. I'm Isabel and today we're going to talk about submission and why everybody is obsessed with it these days. So this buzzword of being submissive and having a submission to alpha men and these dominant men who want you to be submissive to them, and why I find this so cringe, and I really don't understand even women who partake in this discussion and really like back this whole you need to be submissive type of talk. Now, for me, anytime I hear a person talk about submission or being submissive is on the internet. There is no public space that I've ever frequented at where the conversation is about women being submissive. This just does not happen. It doesn't happen among the people who are married. It doesn't happen to the people that are even like single or been married that I know personally. When I'm out with my friends who are married or single or whatever, the discussion on both ends, male and female, are not about women submitting. It just doesn't happen in the real world. And I want you ladies to be aware of this, that a lot of the conversations that are happening online aren't real conversations real people are having, especially if you're dating a man in his king energy. This type of language isn't going to be used. Men understand, true men who are truly in their king energy know that saying stuff does not mean anything. There's one thing that you should always be cautious of, and as a man who talks a lot, if he talks a big game on he's going to do this for you and you need to submit to him or you need to be like this, run far away from this guy. This guy has been on the internet way too long. He's consuming too much internet propaganda, and honestly, he probably doesn't have much going on in his life if he can actually sit there and watch hours of content creators online. Because let's be honest, ladies, the man who is serious about his providing and his ability to just have a financially free life, his focus is not on what's going on online. He's not involved in these type of discussions. He's involved in money. He's involved in his business. He's involved with his family, with the friends that he has. He's involved with his community. He really doesn't have time to really sit there and allow the people that are online pushing this rhetoric to really infiltrate his mind space. He doesn't have the space in his mind to even hold that type of conversation, right? Because that's so far from what his life actually looks like. He doesn't care if a woman is submissive with words and what she supposedly can do, because he knows his role. And that's what I want you ladies to really understand, that the same thing, like if a man has to say, I'm an alpha male, you see me, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, stay far away from that guy. He is not an alpha male. He's just saying these things just so he can get some type of attention, because he feels so small and he needs the validation, the attraction, the people to validate him. And that right there is a huge red flag. So if a man is talking about, I'm gonna be dominant and the woman needs to submit to me, I don't know what he's talking about. Give me a second. Sorry about that. The only submission and dominance that I know about is in the sex world. And I don't think that that's what they're talking about. So they're using terms that's actually sexual terms to say how they're going to be in a relationship. That to me is a huge red flag. And that doesn't make any sense to me, because in reality, in real life relationships, not internet propaganda, there are going to be moments where you, I guess, submit, right? But it's not going to be verbal. It's not a verbal agreement. It is something that happens naturally. If a man is truly in his dominant energy, if he's truly a leader, he doesn't have to tell you he's a leader. The same way an effective manager, say you're at a job and you have a manager, an effective manager does not wield his power by saying, I'm your leader, I'm your leader. What he actually does is he empowers his employees. He makes them feel a part of the team, makes them feel empowered in their role, and allows them to grow and shine. And that is how he leads a great team, by allowing people to build themselves up, just by his silent leadership, but true leadership. Because that is what leadership is about, is not to belittle somebody, but to bring out the best in the people around you, to make your team, make your unit become successful in what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So men who say, you need to submit to me, are bad leaders. They're not men you want in your life. They're not effective leaders. They will not lead you anywhere because they don't actually know how to lead. And these type of men are most likely not leaders in their own profession, in their lives, and they want someone else to lead, and they don't know how to do that because they don't have the experience to do that. So they think them telling you and beating this idea into you is what is actually a leader supposed to do. A man who says he's a leader actually does not know how to lead. The real leader is the one who leads without saying anything. He empowers you and you feel it. And this is something that I realized even in my own relationships with friends, where I would be looked to for the answers of things. And I've never said, I'm the leader, I have the right answer, you need to follow what I say. But because of the way that I presented myself, and I was sure in my answers, and I was empowering my friends, and I gave them, encouragement and made them feel powerful in how they thought, they looked to me as a leader. This is something that you don't have to say. So again, if a man is truly being in his masculine and he's truly in the power position of leading you, I don't even like that idea of leading you, because what are you leading me to? But okay, we'll say leading you. He doesn't have to tell you to be submissive. You will naturally submit. You will naturally fall into the category of submission, because that is what's comfortable when you have someone you can trust to lead. If you have a man who is trustworthy, who you can actually feel his loyalty to you, that he's here and doing the things for your greater good, for your unit's greater good, whether it's just you and him or you and your family, that he's loyal, that he's honest, that he's going to put himself on the line, then of course you're going to be submissive to that. Who would not? We did it while we were children, when we knew that our parents would be there for us, protect us, where, we were going to have a home. We were going to have those things that parents are supposed to provide for their children. And once they did not do that, we were no longer safe. If you have ever not had a home to live in and you were a child with your parents, you didn't feel safe anymore. You felt like, wait, if you seen your parents crying or having a down time, you didn't feel safe anymore, because your sense of leadership came from looking at your parents. And if they were down, you were panicking. And most of the time when that happens, you have children who will start working early, who will take on the responsibilities early, who will be there with their parents trying to make it work with them. And that's a clear sign. So if you really want to be a dominant leader and you want someone to submit to you, don't just yell and tell them you need to submit because you're a woman. No, you need to work on your leadership skills. You need to really figure out why you have to tell people to follow you instead of them wanting to follow you. You know what I'm saying? That's the real trick of it is. And I think that's why the internet has all these false leaders, and the real leaders aren't on the internet unless they're here for their business and they're promoting their business. But they're not going to be sitting here telling you, I'm this, I'm that, because in the reality of it is, just because you're a man does not put you in the position of being a man. Because, and this is something that I spoke about in my podcast probably a year ago, where we discussed the rites of passage. And there's a such thing as rites of passages in a lot of cultures. And it was even very prevalent in African cultures. It is very prevalent in African cultures. But in American culture, we don't necessarily have a true structure of rites of passage for men. For women, we have our rites of passage, and it's instantly happening because we're women and we have the ability to give birth, and we go through menstrual and all of these things that really puts us in our womanhood. But with men, that is not the case. Just because they have puberty and can do that, that is not the case. They do have a rite of passage, and part of that rites of passage is them being able to provide for themselves and a family. That rites of passage is something that you do, and when you complete it, then you're looked at as a true man. This is something a lot of these guys have not done. They don't have a family. They only can say provide for themselves. They don't really appreciate women or value women. They don't see life the way they should if they had went through the rites of passage. If you look in the Jewish community, they have the rites of passage for the men, where at 13, they're practically men at that point, because they learn the culture, they understand their role in their society, they are doing everything to support that role throughout the rest of their life. And through those steps, they're becoming more manly and becoming that positive masculine in their community. This isn't happening. Men think in the society we're living now, especially Western world, modern society, that because they're men, they now are men, right? Because they're male, they're men. But in reality, that's not what it is. And I wanted to say that because these men who are saying you need to submit to me have not gone through the rites of passage. They have not learned the true meaning of manhood, because in knowing the true meaning of manhood, none of this needs to be discussed. None of this needs to be discussed. And I know some people are going to say, well, this is for other men to know. If you want other men to know, teach them how to be men. Don't tell them that women are submissive to them, and if they're not, then they're not good women. That doesn't make any sense, because in a real relationship, I'm bringing you back to reality, not internet propaganda. In real relationships, you will be submitting, both of you, to each other at certain moments. My partner knows that I am a better cook. I am the cook in our home. He is not a great cook. I'm dominant in that position. He submits to me in that position. That now since the kitchen is my domain, whatever I say goes in that kitchen, and he has to submit to that. So if I tell him, you're gonna just cut up the veggies over here, he's gonna go cut up the veggies over there. If I tell him, okay, you need to wash these pots and pans because I'm gonna work on this, he's gonna do it. He doesn't fight me on it because he knows that's my domain. I know what I'm doing there. I'm more in my dominant energy because he's not dominant in that position. The same way when he's, talking about finances or law or anything that he knows heavily about, I sit back and I listen, I learn, because I'm not dominant in that position. That is what he does. And this goes on in the relationship so many times throughout the day, because we're constantly in and out of situations that I may be dominant in and he's not dominant in. I'm really good at the puzzle Sudoku. We love playing like little word puzzles and stuff like that. And I'm really good at Sudoku. So when we're playing, we'll play it together, but I'm usually the more dominant one, and I'm usually going to get the answer before him. In crosswords, he's way better at crosswords than me, and he's usually the dominant one. He's usually getting the answers before me, and we allow each other to do that, and it's healthy that way, because then we're both learning from each other and growing, even in the roles of dominant and submission. So I want you guys, and I want you ladies, to really understand this is not something that you need to do. And any man who's telling you this out loud, professing this, is a liar. He's not dominant. He's not a good leader. He's never going to lead you anywhere that you actually need to go. He's just doing this for his ego, because he doesn't feel strong enough in his manhood, because he hasn't been through the rites of passage. So don't get fooled by what's happening on the internet. And if you do meet a guy in person that is speaking this type of rhetoric, he consumes way too much stuff online that isn't helpful to his real life, to his family, to just being a better person. Stay away from him. That is not a king. That's not even Prince Charming. That is just not the guy you need to be dealing with. So I hope you ladies found value in that. I do want to let you know that I do have one-on-one goddess check-ins. These check-ins, we can just connect for about an hour or so, and we just talk about what's going on in your dating life. What do you want to improve? What do you want to see happen in the next couple of months? And we figure out a plan of getting you there, whether it's a mindset shift, whether it's a physical shift in just how you're presenting yourself, and maybe it isn't any of those things, and you just need someone to connect with because you want to have deeper conversations with someone that understands you and that you feel like you can connect with. I've been enjoying doing these. I've had such great times speaking with you all who did sign up for the goddess check-ins. But I left my email down below, and you can also message me on Facebook, and that way we can connect and see what it is that we can do in getting you your best possible life. And I really have so much passion in this. I've helped men and women, and now I really want to help women manifest the life that they want, because I did it and I'm doing it every single day. And I don't see a reason why women, especially in this modern world, can't have the relationship that they want. You definitely can, and we're gonna get you there. So left my email down there. Reach out to me. Also give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment, share this video, and also subscribe to the channel. I love having you here, and I will see you in the next video.